You think I'll let you zone?
This is something new I normally don't play. A vibes game that doesn't have a world-ending event or revenge plot. Just easygoing fun and helping out friends as I go along with an emotional message about communication to boot. Lil Gator game was developed by Mega Wobble and published by Platonic Games. It was released on Steam and Switch December 2022 and everywhere else on October 2023. It's a 3D platformer open world game where you're a little gator going on adventures around the islands for your big sister. Let's see how much fun we can get into with Lil Gator on these islands, shall we? The game starts with young Lil Gator having fun with his big sis at the park. Lil Gator is bored and wonders what she's doing. Big sis is looking at a video game magazine about the new Legend Hero game, like puzzles, enemies, among other things. Lil Gator doesn't want to read about it anymore and asks about its release, and Big Sis wants it to release soon as well, but they don't need a single player game right now when they have each other. As she says, how hard is it to be a hero when you just need a sword and shield with a silly hat? And I think we all know who they're talking about here. Lil Gator says, you can be a hero, and Big Sis creates a sword, shield, and hat out of cardboard for Lil Gator to wear. After picking a hero name, they try to set up a scenario for their game, and it happens over billions of years of darkness. A little dramatic for Big Sis, but she can work with that. 1 billion years ago, a hero set out to find something fun to do, and with the help of Big Sis, they make their own fantasy game with lore, rules, everything. They also make a rule to themselves that when they have playtime, no work was allowed at all. But one day after mini playtime, Big Sis had to go away to college and leave the hero to play alone. As time passed, the hero thought he would never play with Big Sis again until she came home from fall break, and maybe now they can play like they used to, as we see Lil Gator telling Big Sis the story. Big Sis is humoring Lil Gator with the story as Lil Gator asks that the story makes her want to play, right? Big Sis wants to, but has to finish the group assignment first. Lil Gator is mad that it took him forever to get Big Sis to come to the island with him, and that she's just been working all day. Big Sis apologizes, but the assignment needs to get finished soon, and unfortunately, she hasn't heard back from the rest of her team, so she has to hard carry. But don't worry, as she's had to do this before. Lil Gator is with his friends Martin, Jill, and Avery trying to find a way to get Big Sis to play again, like commenting on how much work they put into the stuff scattered around the island. They made everything for her, but they can't force her to play, so Lil Gator will play the game for her and show her what she's missing after they finish making an epic quest. Martin asks if Lil Gator if he tried talking to Big Sis about how he feels before turning the entire island into a game. The rule is no work while they play, so this will work. Later, Lil Gator gets a quest to find a sword, which is a stick, from Jill. Then Martin didn't really want to do the whole quest thing and had Lil Gator go get a pot for him and give him a lid as a shield. Last, Avery couldn't come up with the quest, so the quest was actually to make a new hat. After getting everything, Gator hits the Big Sis to tell her to play again, but she says she needs to work on the class project. But Gator says no work during playtime, and instead of stopping for a break, she leaves the area to get out of his way. Gator talks to his friends about not giving up, but moving the game to a bigger island where everything is grander and new. Gator's friends would like to help, but the other island is very big, and they have stuff to do. Gator gets a text from his friend Tom, who is at the wrong island. Tom said they gathered a lot of people to help make the stuff, but since Gator wasn't there, they all wandered off. If Gator can get back to the big island, he can bring everyone back together and start a new game. After meeting Tom on the big island, they talk about decking the playground out for a big fantasy game. The playground looks like a town with some changes, and Gator isn't very good at it, but what if he recruits his friends to help? Little Gator has to go to the splash pad, mountains, and woods to find his friends and get them to help him out. Later at the splash pad, Gator meets Martin and his friends being cool. Gator wants him to come to the playground, but no can do because cool rules all. Gator thinks they will have more fun getting wet by the jets and turns it on, but Martin has his friends cut them off, but if Gator can get them to turn the pumps back on, then Martin will walk away. After finding the three friends and dealing with their problems, the seagull dude named Duke was the funny one with the reference to Ace Attorney. I hope it was, anyway. We get back to the splash pad to turn back on the water. We find out that everyone wanted the water back on, but were too afraid to say anything because they didn't want the others to think that they weren't cool. Duke speaks for the first time in the group and suggests that since everyone is making their own towns, why don't they make this place their own? Everyone agrees to the idea and Duke is happy about it. Back at the playground with Martin's help, we now have a marketplace. Next is helping Avery and their friends find something they can agree to play together before heading to the playground, but one problem, they all want to play something different. Avery wants to have a fantasy LARP session, but the others don't want to do that as Andromeda wants to do a sci-fi space epic instead, while Velma wants to do a western with a duel. Ismay will play cowboys if vampires can be in it as well. Avery thinks that they can all come up with a compromise to the problem. Gator says that they're all doing a fantasy thing so no one gets left out, but Ismay has had it if there's no vampires in the fantasy. Gator has to come up with a solution to get the three to play together before Avery comes to the playground. One flame saucer, cow wrangling, and black cherry ice cream later, Avery combines all the ideas together as a restaurant so everyone has something they like and can be a part of the game, where farmers get the food, a space chef, and a vampire interior decorator come together. With that, Avery and their friends come to the playground and open up a restaurant. Last is Jill in the woods with her cram session classmates. At the woods, Gator meets up with Jill, who's with her other friends, Suzanne, Jean, and Antoine, doing research. Suzanne is looking for ancient artifacts, Jean wants to see what people use for commerce, while Antoine just hunts and catalogs beetles. Gator thinks that just sounds like extra homework, and that is correct, as fall reading is far too boring and this isn't. Gator wants Jill to come to the playground to help, but she can't because she needs a project as well. So Gator figures that they just don't know how to have fun, but if he helps them, then Jill will come. After making a new stone axe, trading a half-eaten cheese sandwich, and finding a cool rhinoceros beetle, Jill and her friends decide to come to the playground. After getting everyone to make the fancy town, Gator goes to Big Sis and tells her to come play, but she can't right now because of work and is conflicted, but she has to focus on what's important, so Gator decides to stop bothering her and return to his friends. After everything, it isn't enough. Jill says maybe they need a few more things, but Martin says that if all this isn't enough, it will never be, so Gator just might have to go and actually talk to his sister. Gator knows this but doesn't have the words he wants to say. His friends help by asking what this game means to him and his sister. While sorting through his emotions, we find out that they come to this island and play their game each week as they both love playing, but they started coming less and less. Big Sis would make all the rules and systems on her own. They suggest that maybe Big Sis was stressed because she was always making the game but never playing the game. Asking her to constantly play without actually playing every day would make her nervous, so why not let her be the hero this time? Then the reason Gator kept asking to play was one day Big Sis said that she had to go to computer school and started playing less and less. And one day she just didn't want to play anymore. Gator thinks that he only asked Big Sis to play the game because he wanted to play the game, which sounds silly saying it out loud. He appreciates his friends helping him before going to talk to his Big Sis. They both have a heart-to-heart. Gator tries to understand the pressure she's under making a video game and that sometimes she won't be able to have time to play, but that's not his fault. Gator thanks his sister for everything she's done with him when they play together, and that even though she has the work to do, he's glad that she's still here. Then we see from Big Sis's point of view that she really wants to make a video game that she and Gator can play together, that she would have to transfer schools because programs she needs aren't at the current school, so she needs to decide soon. She remembers Gator not understanding that she wants to make a video game for everyone to enjoy and that they can play together. After realizing what really matters right now, Big Sis finally goes on a break to see what Gator is up to and is amazed at the fantasy town he and his friends built with cardboard, plywood, tape, and glitter as the game ends. The gameplay of Lil Gator game is simplistic, easygoing vibes where the name of the game is to explore and help people along the way to make the fantasy town the best it can be. The currency in the game is cardboard and glitter and can be found in many places on the island by monsters made of cardboard that you can destroy for, pots smashed on the island that will give you currency as well, and chests that are littered around waiting to be opened. Gator can get items or abilities from NPCs if they need help or from stores like the climbing bracelet. It helps Gator climb with the stamina wheel, but if you want more stamina, you'll need to find the shop hiding all over the island. And then for a small fee, Gator can be Spider-Man. You can also get some accessories by helping NPCs or buying them. If you buy it from an NPC, you'll have to craft it with the cardboard, so it's not really free if you want to switch out for some things like a sword, shield, hat, and other things like a Nerf gun or a paintball gun. On the ability part, you can get them from helping NPCs like the one I got that made it so Gator will turn into a ragdoll when you eat him off a mountain. When you help an NPC with a problem they have, which the side quests are usually funny, they will join you at the playground to help build an area you need next, so it helps to help kids on the island when you come across them. There are also time braces scattered across the island where it's just, you get from point A to point B in the fastest allotted time, with the help from what you have, in which Gator can use the shield as a sled for ground into water to cover said more ground and water. Lil Gator game is a relaxing game to play and just pass the time to remember when you were a kid if you're as old as me. Playing outside, making up games to play because either you couldn't afford a lot of digital entertainment or the only kids you could talk to were at the local park outside of your school. It also shows that childlike wonder of what the world could be like. The story hit home for a lot of people with older siblings or parents when you loved having fun together, but they can't due to things out of their control, which in turn makes the kid think it's their fault when it's not. But also a lesson for the older folk that it's okay to take a break sometimes and reconnect with your inner child to remember your hobbies or things you love to do. That you don't have to give them up, but do it in moderation and you'll be fine. Plus, you can share the things that make you happy with the people you care about. Don't forget to check up on them. You can finish Lil Gator game in about one sitting, which is about 3 hours, but if you want to 100% the game, then you're looking at 5 to 6 hours for a $10 to $20 depending on the sale. It's a fine price. But with that said, I'll give Lil Gator game an 8 out of 10 for reminding everyone to take a breather and spend time doing the things you love with the people you care about. That looks like this should do it for Lil Gator game. It was a very enjoyable experience that you could just explore and vibe to, but I'm not done playing indie games yet as I become a web detective next time. Stay gold guys, and I'll see you in the next video.